Today I'm going to read you a couple of scriptures. I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to ask you a question. The scriptures that I'm going to read are from the book of Isaiah. This is the New American Standard Bible, chapter 42, verse 8. And it says, I am the Lord, that is my name. I will not give my glory to another, nor my praise to graven images. What's a graven image? Well, back then, they had silversmiths that would make an idol in the form of a calf or who knows, a mermaid, I don't know. But people would worship such things. It seems silly to us now, but that's what they did. Verse 17 says, they shall be turned back and utterly be put to shame, who trust in idols. People who trust in idols will be turned back and utterly put to shame, who say to molten images, you are our gods. Now, the story I want to tell you happened when I was in my 20s. I went to the Renaissance Festival in Texas. Now, one of the things that always fascinated me as a child was unicorns. You know, those little horses that had a single horn coming out of their head. I thought they were cool, mythical creatures, knew they didn't exist, but when I was at the Renaissance Festival, I found a little pewter graven image, if you will, of a unicorn. And so I bought it, and I brought it home, and I had it sitting on my dresser. And then I read my Bible, and I found out that God doesn't like graven images. And you say, well, you're not worshiping it. No, I wasn't. But I felt the Lord say to me that I needed to get rid of that pewter unicorn. Well, I'd spent some money on that thing. It was not cheap. But God told me to get rid of it. So I picked it up and I put it in the trash. I got rid of it. I hadn't had it very long. Maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks. It was a very short period of time. But God told me to get rid of the unicorn. And so I did. That's my story. Now, here's my question to you. Do you have an idol? Do you have a graven image? Do you have something that you worship other than God? You know, there's a TV show that's been on for many, many years now called American Idol. It's singers. Yeah, we idolize singers. We put them up on a pedestal. We put sports figures up on a pedestal. We put singers up there. We put names. Pick a name and they're put on a pedestal and they're practically worshiped. Yeah, I did it as a kid. I had posters of the teeny bopper stars. I'm not going to name any names, but if you've known me for a long time, you know who they were. And I loved them. Do you love somebody or something more than you love God? Because you're not supposed to. God is to be number one. You are to worship Him above all else. And if you have a graven image, if you have an idol that you're worshiping, I have one word for you. Quit. Because if you are a Christian, if you have asked Jesus into your heart, He is number one. And He is not going to share His glory with anyone. Worship God only. You say, well, what about that stuff that I see in the background? I see a picture up there. I see that little girl you made in ceramics and other stuff. Yeah, I got stuff. But you know what? I don't worship that stuff. If God told me to get rid of that stuff, He'd be out of here. Because God is number one. And no matter what I have on my walls, and I have some pretty stuff on my wall, stuff that I made, but it's not a graven image. It's not something I worship. I no longer worship singers. I no longer worship stars. I've never worshiped sports figures because I'm not into sports. The point here is God is to be number one. And that is my message today. Make sure that God is number one and that you don't have something sitting around your house that is so precious to you that you put it above God. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.